Hello, everyone. We have a special episode today with a special guest. You might think it's Magnus, but unfortunately it's not. But I've got my student with me, and we're gonna do some puzzle rush to start with. Can you say hello?
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am the student of Chess Opening Traps, and today I am joining this video with him. We're gonna do some puzzles, see if I can learn a thing or two, and I'm very curious to see my own progression through this journey that he's taking me on with. So let's just get started, and we'll see how far we can come.
Yeah, and I'm curious as well, so I'm excited. Hopefully, I can help you a bit. Would be nice if I
I think you
don't
will be
block.
able to. I think you will be able to.
Yeah,
It's rated
who
2000 now,
knows?
so we should
Who
be
knows?
good.
Maybe in a few minutes I'm blundering all the puzzles and then, but we'll see. I'm just gonna start. It's survival, so no time on the clock. Although it's counting downwards, but we have all the time. And this is
Right.
actually interesting. I think it's best if you just explain your thought process, and yeah, we can go from there. I can try to
Well,
steer you in the right direction. But in this case, yeah, let's hear what you think.
all right. So the first thing that I see, like, the white king is surrounded, so this is probably like a mate in one. So I'm probably looking at the diagonals that the queen can go to, the black queen,
Mm-hmm.
so we can trap the black king. So I don't think this should be too hard. So I would go queen to f4.
Yeah, that's an illegal move actually. just just take another look.
Oh wait, I'm in check.
Yep, that's easy
Right.
to
So
miss. So you
um,
need to decide how to get out of check first. But your idea was all right. You just first need to get
well,
out of
yeah.
check.
There's two options to get out of check. It's
Mm-hmm.
G7 and H7. Um, not deliver a new check, so I don't think it really matters. So I would just go to G7.
Yeah,
King.
in a puzzle, there's always one move. So if you say I don't think it really matters, it always matters. So it's always good to try to rule out one of the moves instead just playing one move. There's always just one move that's right and the other move loses, which
Right,
is
so I would go to G7 because he still has a light squared bishop that could potentially be a threat later. So this is why I probably go to G7 instead of H7.
yeah, it's the right idea. The main reason you can't go to h7 is that a queen can actually take on f7 with check, and he had at least has a perpetual check, and maybe he can even checkmate you. So just
Yeah.
so if the king goes there, the queen takes here, and yeah, it's check, and you're not gonna have time to checkmate here. The queen is even defending at that point, but you need to move your king again.
Yeah.
So you're
Okay.
right. This is the best move. Okay. Not what I
Wow.
expected, but I guess you
Big
can.
brain computer.
Yeah. So now, what do you do?
I take the queen obviously on F7.
Yeah.
So
Okay, and they don't even let it go to checkmate. So the next one, let's hear what you think.
well, first thing I see is the white queen is pinned. It can't move. So I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm not in any check position. So I think I would just take, and that would be checkmate.
Yeah, it wouldn't be checkmate actually.
Oh, actually, you
Um,
can take my knight. So
yeah.
yeah, you can take my knight.
So in this case, it's always good to count the pieces, right? So what you can always do is say, okay, these are the pieces I have. So I have two knights, two bishops, a rook, and a queen. He has two knights, two bishops, a rook, and a queen as well. So if you win the queen and he takes your knight, you win material.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
know that's good. I'd usually just check if there is no checkmate, because sometimes in these positions there's a checkmate as well, so that would be better than taking the queen. Now in a game, if you win the queen, that's already really good. So in a game, it doesn't really matter that much. But it's also good to check here. Now in this case, I don't think there's an immediate checkmate. So Yeah. Shall we play
yeah,
this
this
move?
is the way to win the queen. Yeah, I would play. I'll play f1 because winning a queen is always good.
Yeah, right. So let's go for that. And that's the right idea.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
an
this is
endgame
interesting.
puzzle. That's interesting. At these, usually the first puzzles are always checkmate puzzles, and suddenly we're in an endgame. Interesting. So let's hear your thoughts again.
Well, we both have equal material,
Yeah, that's right.
and in fact, we are both even on the board. Only one of my pawn. He can take my pawn. I can't defend it anymore.
That's correct.
So
Yeah.
I think the first thing that I would do is bring my king closer to defend his promotion. That's my first way of thinking. Is
Yeah.
because I need to get across with my pawn, and I think actually no, he's one move behind me because he has to take first.
Yeah. You can just calculate, right? So let's say you move closer, king probably takes, and then what? You can move closer, but the king is always shouldering you. So
Yeah, so he's blocking me from attacking.
He's always gonna escort the pawn. So basically, you know that you can defend him from promoting. So what do you do then?
Well, I have to promote and go for a check. Because right now, if I would promote right now, then he would be in check. But that's not the case.
So again,
I think
especially in these end games, just go through the move. So let's say you are going for the promotion, right? So you move the pawn. Yeah. He takes here. You move. Oh, sorry, that's illegal. You move again. He moves his pawn. You move again. He moves his pawn. And here you promote with check.
Yeah,
so his pawn is still. He's 2 moves even. He's still 2 moves from promotion. Yeah. Now this is still an endgame you need to learn because there's 2 pawns. But this is winning. If you get the queen first here, that's winning. So yeah, should we go for that?
I guess we just advance the knight to or the pawn to g5. So.
Yeah, right. Let's go for that. And it's gonna make us play this out. So just you check. What do you do now?
We advance. There's nothing we can do on attacking the point. Now he takes. Okay,
in any position, we've basically calculated this already. We can't get close with our king before he promotes. So this is the only way. And okay, the puzzle stops here. That's the thing. So another puzzle. Obvious. Yeah, right. So let's see how the move.
Rook to, I'm not a check, so rook to d8, then bishop blocks, and I take on e8.
Yeah, it's a mate in 2. Well found. So, next one.
I'm not in a check position. Because I learned from the first time.
Yeah.
That I didn't
yeah. Good thing. Always check that. Now, in an online game, that doesn't really matter. But in an over-the-board game, you would make an illegal move. So that's always good to check that. Yeah.
I think I would. My first way of thinking here is I would go to rook to f7 and then bring the king to. No, actually, rook to f7 is checkmate already.
Depends on which rook, but yeah. So if you see you made in 1, yeah, you should play it. But it's rook
e7.
Rook ef7, yeah. That's correct. So let's go for the next one.
Okay.
And it's getting more interesting. We have some tactics now.
I could.
Although I say that, it's not even a tactic. Not really.
No.
Yeah.
I think
so the knight is pinned. To g3.
Yeah, rook to g3 because I think that's checkmate even because it can't go to.
It is
well f2.
Well spotted. Yeah, and your calculation can end there, right? If it's checkmate, yeah, then no need to calculate any further. So that's correct. Let's go for the next one. So we're already on 6, and we're going to the 500 rating or about there. So puzzles are getting a little more difficult. So again, let's hear your...
If I was in the game, my first intuition would be just give a check with the queen because he has no ability to block it with any pieces.
Yeah, that's a good intuition. So the thing to always notice here is his pawns here are on dark squares. This file is open. So the light squares around this king are really really vulnerable. So that's definitely a thing to look at. So you see this move. Okay, let's calculate. What's he gonna do?
The only move he has is king to e7.
Right. So he plays his king to e7. Do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I would go to queen to f7.
Right. It's another check. What does he do?
Then he's going to go to d6.
Right. His only legal move. Do you have a follow-up here?
Yeah, knight to f5. No.
That is a follow-up.
Yeah,
it's not the
check,
best move.
There's no point.
Yeah. I think that might be winning as well. So knight f5. King can go here. It's still winning. It's even made in 2 there. But you have an easier move. So with the queen still here, the king
queen
here.
is now on. I think I would go queen to
no,
g5.
Actually, I'm making a mistake here. So I thought queen d5 as well, but then the king just goes back.
You can go back, yeah.
So I think your intuition was right, because that's actually made in 3. So
yeah, I'm curious now.
Yeah. Can you see the made in 3 by the way? Can you see the made in 3 by the way? So queen here, king here,
okay.
Queen here, king here. And you said knight here.
Knight to f5.
Yeah, so the king only has 1 move.
I would bring my queen to d5.
Right. And now the king only has 1 move again.
Then
now you can
queen
probably
to
see
b5.
it. Yeah, so that's checkmate.
Yeah.
So it's quite a long checkmating long, which is surprising at this rating range. Now I don't know if it's gonna let us play the whole thing, but okay. That's what you see. Yeah. But it's always good to calculate these things, because your intuition was right, but you also want to know what the continuation is. So that's good practice. So let's see what we do here. Yeah, so
queen to g7 checkmate.
Yeah, right. So no need to think any further. That's just checkmate. Okay, this is actually a pattern that comes up a lot in puzzles. In Puzzle Rush.
This one's also easy.
Okay, let's hear it.
I would go queen to f2, then king goes to h1.
Mm-hmm.
And no. Then then I give a check with queen, then he takes with rook, and then I take the rook with my rook. And then
right. So that's an important pattern to remember. His back rank is weak, right? That's the first thing you should notice. His king is behind the pawns, so the back rank is weak.
Yeah.
You can take this pawn with check, but then you might think, okay, the rook is defending, so what do I do now? If you take the rook, the queen takes, and that's nothing. But the pattern actually, like you said, you can give up your queen here because the king is behind his pawns on the back rank.
Yeah, trapped.
So and that's usually a recurring theme in these puzzles. And actually, if you know this, you can implement this in your games as well. Because opponents often miss this strat. So like you said, this is just a checkmate. And it's always nice to sacrifice your queen, of course. So okay, we've got an endgame puzzle again.
All right, so the first thing that I see is intuition. My good thing is that it will not be a check, so I still have 1 more move after his promotion. So my first thought would be just to go pawn to c2, then c1, and that would be checkmate, I think. So he can get a queen, but he can't defend the checkmate that I'm about to give him. So I think I would just promote.
Just to be sure, okay? So you play queen c2, he promotes, and then you said you promote to a queen?
C1 promotion, because that's checkmate.
That's not checkmate. The king can go to a2.
Oh yeah. But then I can go to b2, and then it is checkmate.
Right. Okay. So you needed to calculate 1 move further. That's why I stopped you. Your intuition was correct, but it was one move further. So that's indeed right. And yeah, that's the thing.
What's interesting to know here, sorry that I interrupt you, but the interesting thing to know is what if he did have a check in his promotion? What if my queen was on d5 or my king?
I think the
Lost the
position
game,
would,
right?
yeah, the position would just be losing then. There's nothing you can do at that point because you can't stop the promotion. The pawn is too close. You don't have any pieces to get there. So you either need to threaten an immediate checkmate or to to move some pieces, but you don't have any pieces. So yeah, this was basically the only thing. So let's play the last move.
No, me too. Yeah, like okay.
Yeah. Okay, so again,
I already see it, but I'm not gonna say it yet because I want to look around the board first.
Just something to notice.
It's very weak. My back rank is weak.
Yeah, your back rank is weak. What else do you notice about this position?
Well, I do see that the pawn on f7 has two threats. It has the rook and the queen.
Yeah. Okay. So you're already thinking about attacking, which is the right idea in this case. But I just want to show you that it's also always good to evaluate your position, look at your opponent's threats as well. In this case, you're onto the right path. But one thing you should always notice: okay, I have 4 pieces. My opponent has 5, so he has more pieces.
He's ahead of material.
Yeah, he is ahead, which means it's probably not a quiet move, right? You're gonna either have to win material or to checkmate. Because if you don't, you're just behind some pieces. Another thing you should always notice is your knight is hanging in this position. So again, a quiet move wouldn't be good because you're losing your knight. So that's just, in this case, it doesn't really matter because, like I said, you were on the right track with your move. But these are just things to notice in every position before you go ahead and start attacking, basically. But yeah, in this case, which move did you say? Because I didn't.
Queen f7.
Yeah, Queen f7. And do you see the follow-up?
Yeah, then he's going to go to h8, and then I go to h7. Queen, and that's checkmate.
Yeah, correct. So just to remember, now here, you see again, he has 2 pieces more than you do. So you know you're gonna either have to win a lot of material or to checkmate. That's just a thing you can immediately notice about such a position.
This one's pretty tough, I think. Well, his bishop is... His dark square bishop is useless because it's covered by pawns.
Yeah, but then again, he has
his rooks are in the...
He has 2 pieces up, so even if one piece isn't...
Okay.
That's
what I noticed. His rooks are really inactive.
Yeah, so you know you need to be quick, because if he, I don't know, can bring his pawn up, get his bishop out, get his rook out, then it's over, basically. So you need to be quick. So you either have to create an immediate threat, or win some pieces immediately, or go for the checkmate. And
there,
yeah,
there is multiple checks. Well, e6 loses the rook, so that will be pointless.
Yeah, but that's a good thing to always do. Just calculate all the checks. And like you said, this loses the rook. That's not the right move. But you should always calculate that. So okay, you've ruled out this check. Are there any other checks?
Yeah, bishop to d8.
Right. So let's see. Do you notice something about that position?
It's checkmate.
Correct. So let's play that move. Yeah. and that's actually a difficult one, because these backwards bishop moves are, a lot of people miss those moves. So that's actually quite a tough one. So here again, you're down a lot of material. So you know it must be something big, right?
Yeah, I see. If I talk about white, queen to f8 is checkmate.
Yeah, right. So basically, because he's threatening checkmate, you either need to stop checkmate, or you need to put his king in check. because otherwise he's gonna checkmate you. So
Oh,
what options do you
I
have?
think I have a checkmate.
That's
If I
correct.
take rook on a1.
Yeah, that's correct. So let's play that. And we're already at the 13, so going quite well. So what would you do here?
Also, that's pretty easy. But first, I don't know why I didn't castle, but
That's always interesting, right? How did someone get into this position? But yeah,
yeah.
That's not our problem.
I think he's not really earning anything.
Right.
He doesn't have any checks. Yeah, he does, but I can just take his queen, so that's pointless. So I already know the sequence. It's
yeah. So let's go for it.
Queen to e7.
Right.
Check. And he's gonna go to g8, and then I go queen to d8, and then it's checkmate. Because if I go to e8, his knight takes.
Yeah. So that's the point of this puzzle, probably to see that his knight can go back. It's actually not checkmate because he can block with the knight. Just
but then I take the knight, then it's over.
Yeah, correct. So let's go for that. And let's checkmate.
They let us finish the sequence.
Yeah, finally we got to deliver checkmate. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this one is I already saw it, but
yeah, if you see it, you can just play it, right? If it's a forcing sequence, you don't have to calculate any further. Is it forced checkmate? It's forced checkmate. Which I'm kind of giving it away, but you saw it already, right?
Queen to d7.
Right.
And then he goes to b8, and then I check with the queen, and he takes with rook, and then I take his rook with my rook.
Yeah, so again, it's the same theme, remember we had earlier. In this case, the king is not blocked by a pawn here, but a knight, but it's the same thing. In the earlier puzzle, our queen came from this side, but yeah, it's the same principle. And like I said back then, this is usually a recurring theme. So
yeah, it happens a lot, especially on my level, like the Martin level. It happens a lot.
Well, you're a little bit higher rated than Martin.
Okay, this is an interesting one.
Yeah, it's a really weird position, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know how you get into this, but let's just he's threatening my rook on a1 with the queen. The rook is actually hanging.
Yeah, correct. So you know you either have to do something about that, or you have to generate a bigger threat.
Yeah,
or check or anything like that.
So my knight is on g5, which is protecting f7.
Right.
So what does it lead to a checkmate? Because if I go for f7 with queen, he has.
Yeah, just calculate. Let's say you go here with the queen.
Oh, I see it. I see it. I see it. You don't have to calculate.
Right. So what does he do here?
All right. Queen f7, and then he goes to d8 with king, and then I go rook to d1.
Right. That's another check.
I go rook to d1. That's checkmate. I can block, and then I take the queen. I'll win the queen.
He has actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways to block. So a little more calculation to do there.
Okay. I was thinking I was Magnus in here, but right.
Not quite yet.
Actually, okay, this is actually an interesting one.
By the way, he doesn't even have to block. I didn't even see that, but
oh yeah, you can take with knight.
His knight can take your rook.
Yeah, that's okay. This is the type of things that I do in game. I think I got it, and then I just play it, and I blunder my rook or my queen or whatever. This happens to me a lot. This is why I lose games.
Yeah. So it's always good to do a blunder check, and that's something that comes with experience as well, right? Because yeah, even if you do a blunder check, you might still miss it. But it doesn't mean your intuition is wrong, right? So what you do in this kind of puzzles is go back to the last time you had to make a decision, right? So you said this rook here, and might think. Just to continue my story, you might see here, okay, the rook here doesn't work. So let's not make that move, right? Queen here, king here. Do you have another move in that position? So that's also what you do. You go back to the last time you had a choice. So instead of rook d1, what other moves can you make?
I could give a check with my knight, and then it's a fork. I win his queen. Wow. No, actually, no. My queen is on that foul. But it would. Yeah. If okay.
Yeah, continue your thought. You're on the right track again.
So I would like if I give the check to f7, he's gonna go um to d8.
Mm-hmm.
But if my queen wasn't on that foul, I could fork his queen and have a royal fork there. But yeah, my queen is on that foul, so he's blocking it.
Yeah. But just continue that position. First thing, you had the right idea with the rook here, right? One thing to notice is that the king doesn't have any moves, right? The queen is covering all the squares around the king in that position. Mm-hmm. And you can play this because the knight is here. So one thing you can try to calculate is, what if I take that knight first? Now, in this case, that's probably not the right...
yeah, well, then he gains momentum, right?
Yeah, because if he takes with the bishop, it comes with check. If that didn't come with check, it might work because you would have this check, and now he can't take your rook anymore.
Yeah.
But he can still block with this knight, so probably still not. But that's something you should calculate. But there's another thing, right? Again, the king can't move anywhere. So do you have any other checks?
Yeah, but the only check that I see would end up losing my queen. Yeah, I could knight to e6, but that just loses the knight.
No, your queen is here. Your queen is defending the knight in that position.
Isn't that a... Oh, then there's a forced move because he has to take, otherwise it's checkmate.
Yeah.
Right?
So he has to give up his queen, so you're winning his queen. So even though you're thinking about checkmate, the puzzle doesn't actually end in checkmate, but you're just winning his queen. Although maybe I'm missing something as well, because I notice you're actually down a lot of pieces, but I think that's a continuation. So let's just check. He goes here, here, check.
And he has to take, because otherwise it's checkmate.
Yeah, after he takes, you can take, but just one step further. What's the ending position? He has 2 bishops, 2 knights, and 2 rooks. And you have a queen and 2 rooks. So he actually has 2 bishops and 2 knights for your queen, which is also something to think about, because is that enough?
It'd be equal. No,
it's
not even equal.
No, actually that's usually good for black. Now in this case, I don't really see anything else, so I think what you need to do basically. Yeah. Shall we go for that? Maybe we're missing something, but let's play it.
Queen f7.
So we know this doesn't work. This doesn't work. So basically, this is the only move. Yeah, and here, if we don't take the queen, what are we doing? So that's obvious. And the puzzle ends. I think it's still interesting to. Let's see if I can go back to there.
Some puzzles don't make sense. Like I play a lot of puzzles, and sometimes I see the ending of a puzzle, and I'm like, what?
I think in this position it's still winning, but I don't think the puzzle should have ended here, right? Yeah, you're threatening to win 2 pieces for the rook now, which is good, but still, his king is still weak, so it's still winning. But yeah, they should have definitely continued this puzzle
as a follow-up. What? All right, we're now in this position.
Mm-hmm.
He took his queen. What do you think his next move is? Because I can see. Imagine it was my move. I would go queen to f6, and maybe he moves his queen to e8, and I can take his rook, and then it's another check.
Yeah, but if you go to f6, the king can also go to c7, and the rook defends the other rook.
On my level, you see very often that people, they just Get the
right,
first
right.
option in your hand and go to E8.
I mean, I see a nice trap here. They might think, okay, I can attack your queen, and then this is actually checkmate. But
yeah, he blocks his.
that might happen in the game as well. Yeah, let's just continue the other puzzles. I don't think this is a 900 rated puzzle, to be honest. Yeah, that's what happens sometimes. So yeah, this is the next puzzle. So let's hear your thoughts again.
All right. So one of his rooks is inactive, but he is ahead of material and in pawns. So I do not want to take this to an end game. I need to.
And he's ahead by a lot, right?
I really need to induce an attack.
He's up a bishop, a queen, and 4 pawns. So that's a lot. And you're not gonna win that much material in the puzzle. So basically, that gives away that it must be some kind of checkmate somehow. So let's see if you can find something.
Right. So my first thought would be pawn to f5.
Okay, let's calculate that line.
And then he's gonna go to f6.
Yeah, so he has two moves there. So let's calculate f6 first.
Then I would go knight to e4, check. Again.
Okay, let's say knight e4 check.
Then he might go to e7, and I could give it a discovered attack with my knight and take his queen.
Yeah, so he has 2 moves. He can go to e7 or to e5. I
can still give him a discovered attack.
Yeah, but like we said in the beginning of this this puzzle, is winning the queen enough here? Because he's ahead more than the queen, remember?
No.
So just go back. You need to checkmate him somehow. That's basically what you know in this puzzle. So let's go back to the last time you had to make a decision, right? So check, king goes here. You said knight e4, and the king, let's say he moves to e7. Do you have a follow-up there?
Yeah, move my knight out of the way to give another check. That's
yeah. Let's see. You're giving the king the chance to hide behind the pawns, and then your attack is over, right? So that's not the right idea. So let's go one move further back where you had to make a decision. So pawn f7, king f6. Sorry, f5, f6. One thing to notice about this position, and that's the way to think about this rook is actually helping blocking this file, right? So it's preventing the king from escaping, and that should steer you in the right direction.
I think I know. I know.
Okay, so
I think it's if I go pawn to f5, king goes to f6. Let's just take that. So I would go knight to h7.
Right, and you're checking him. The rook is blocking these files. The pawn is actually blocking that file, and your king is preventing him from going there, and your knight as well. So that's actually checkmate. But remember, we don't stop there because he had another move here, right? He can move to h6 after the first check.
Then I can go knight to f7.
Correct, and it's basically the same idea. It's just another check. Yeah. I'm saying correct. You should double check this one. I didn't even check that at first. What's wrong with that move?
A queen can take.
Yeah, the queen can take. So that's not the right idea. And now I actually need to calculate as well, because I thought this was the right idea and I didn't see the queen there as well. And still, the king is trapped, right? So that's still good, but you need to basically find a way to...
I don't think there's any crazy sacrifice here. I was already thinking of that, but there's not. Really isn't.
No, I was thinking of moves like this, but I think this must be the right idea. That's just intuition again. But this is one I'm struggling with as well. But maybe we should calculate further, right? So let's say we do take here. We discarded that move because the queen takes, but the king is still kind of trapped. So maybe we should continue, and I'm actually seeing something already, but... So let's say that happens, right? Pawn here, king here, and we take with the knight. And the queen takes on knight. Can we do something there?
Yeah. Pawn to g5.
Yeah, we can actually checkmate with the pawn. So that's a good thing to learn, and I struggle with this myself as well, as you saw. Just because they can take your piece doesn't really mean it's a wrong move. And in this case, you're not playing this because it's checkmate, but actually to make room for your pawn to move. So that's an interesting thing to know. So yeah, that must be the solution. So let's play it.
Yeah.
Again, I don't really know why this...
Wow.
It says this puzzle is 900 rated.
Yeah. The disrespect.
Yeah, it's always nice to mate
Checkmated
with the
with
pawn. But yeah, 900 rated for this puzzle, I don't really think so. But yeah, we did find it. So yeah, let's continue again. So what do you notice here?
Wow. What I could see is a lot of his black's pieces are really bunched up.
Yeah, it looks like
But-
you did a lot of defending in this position because all your pieces are around your king, and looks like you're making a fortress.
The dark squared bishop does have a decent diagonal, but the light squared
Yeah.
bishop is completely blocked.
Yeah, and there's no tactics here, right? So in a game you might think of improving your bishop, things like that. But yeah, this doesn't attack anything. So you know, yeah, in these positions there's always some tactics. So yeah, you should look for them.
So maybe my first thought would be knight to b4 to attack his queen, and that gains me a little bit of momentum. That's my thought, because he has to react to that move.
Yeah, so it's right intuition to look for those things. What you always do in these positions is first you look if there are any checks. Now in this position there aren't any. If there aren't any checks, you look at captures. Now I only see one capture, which is this one, and yeah, that just loses a knight. So we can quickly disregard that one. So then you, if there are no captures or no checks that work, then you look for attacks, and you start by most value. So indeed, you start by looking for attacks on the queen. Okay, so let's say
that's actually what you're saying right now. I actually like the way you're thinking is very simple, but I never actually did that.
Yeah,
checks, takes,
checks, captures, attacks. Yeah, that's just a checklist you can go through, and that.
I'm gonna write that down. That's very interesting.
And that's gonna help in puzzles a lot. And in games, it's usually a little more difficult because not every position is a tactical position. But it still helps. And especially if you feel like there's a lot going on in a position, it's always good to go through the checklist. If you have enough time, of course. So,
the only thing that I really see here is knight to b4, because that's a threat to the queen.
Yeah.
And it gains any momentum.
So it does
also frees the bishop.
Yeah. So it actually comes with two threats, and that's the thing to notice, right? So you're attacking the queen, but also you're attacking the knight now, because there's two pieces on the knight.
Yep.
So that looks like it might be the right idea. But don't stop calculating there, because maybe he doesn't have to move the queen.
He can go for a check.
Yeah, right? Knight, so he can check on c7, because the knight is defended by the rook. Do you have a follow-up there?
Sack my queen, take the rook, and then take the queen?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the right idea, right? So because you're attacking his queen, even though this square usually you wouldn't take because you lose your queen, but now after you lose your queen, he loses his queen, and in the end, you can take the rook, but in the end you've won a knight and the queen, and he has just won your queen and the pawn.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a complicated tactic, but in the end you end up winning a knight. for a pawn. So yeah, that's the right idea. And that's difficult to find because usually you don't want to hang your queen, but if you can take their queen, it might be worth it. So the next one, we are at over the 1000 rating at this point, number 18.
I already see. This is you're in a check. Oh, I almost wanted to go for an illegal move again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
well,
tempting, right?
my first intuition is I'm in check. Where do I escape? I would go to G3 because I can get behind my pawns after a follow-up check.
Yeah, so you have a multiple options, right? You can block with your knight, or your king can go to D squares, I believe. Yeah, those are your legal moves. Now, blocking to the knight,
no,
I would also.
I changed my mind.
Yeah, I'll come back to you. Blocking with the knight is something you can usually disregard pretty quickly, because you need your knight for the attack, right? If you go back with your knight, it's probably just an equal position, but yeah, you're not threatening anything anymore. So you can disregard that. And like you already wanted to play in the beginning, you're seeing you have threats with your rook here. So you want to keep your knight here to keep having that threat. And the question now is indeed where to move your king.
G5.
Yeah, okay,
G5.
so why G5?
Because it blocks the escape of the other king.
Yeah, so that's indeed another thing to notice. If you were to go for the check, it's illegal in this position, but let's remember, let's pretend it's not. The king can actually escape. So that's indeed the best move. So can black do anything in that position to prevent you from checkmating?
No.
No, right? He can only
There's
prolong
nothing
it.
you can do, no.
Yeah, he can give a check with his rook, but you just take the rook. He can block the diagonal with his bishop, but you just take the bishop. So he can prolong the checkmate for a couple moves, but that's it. So and now we've basically ruled out all his responses, so we know it.